Hello, hello, hello. All right, just checking out here to make sure everyone can hear me. Hello, everyone. It is time to talk about how we can eat to beat family history of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Yes, I know. You're like, you think that your family history is your destiny, but it does not have to be. So, for those that don't know me, I am Dr. Amanda, and I am from Adkins Enlightenment Lifestyle Medicine. And many people say to me, my parents or grandparents have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, whatever it may be, a chronic illness. And so, probably, inevitably, it's going to be for me. And I'm here to tell you that it is not necessarily your destiny. And your food choices have an enormous power to prevent and even reverse. So if you've already been diagnosed, do not be discouraged, because we can reverse some of these factors that can influence these chronic illnesses that run in your body. Okay. So if you are watching live, go ahead and hit that share button. Share this with someone that you know that will need to actually hear this message today, because they're like, my family, I know that this is going to happen, and I do not want this to happen to me. And to have them know that they can take control, they have the power to impact their health. So I want you all to be sharing this video out, because this message needs to get out to people. And I'm going to be making sure I don't see any questions in the comments. So if you have questions also in the just drop them in the comments as we're going through this here, and I will definitely come back and answer those. Okay. All right. So first up, diabetes. We're going to talk about that, how we can actually help with reversing or preventing diabetes. And we're talking strictly about eating today. So when we look at what's actually on our plate, we can really think of food as medicine. And I know you're like, Dr. Amanda talking about this food again. I already know. But it's not about what you know, it's about what you're doing. And that's why I love to come on here and then just talk about, and then just so you can hear it. So the seeds will continue to plant in your mind. So before you know it, you'll be looking at your plate and you'll be like, how did this change? Those seeds that Dr. Amanda is planting for you to actually use your food as medicine for your body. So when we think about blood sugar and diabetes, most time we think, okay, we're going to cut sugar, or I don't really eat sugar and I don't need to worry about that. So it's not necessarily about removing things, it's about adding. Because a lot of times we think of restriction, and we think less, and we want to actually think more. We want to think about what we can do to be more um, proactive, and what we can use powerful tools to actually help with our blood sugars and reversing these high blood sugars, and reversing our insulin resistance and diabetes. So instead of looking at reducing sugar, we want to look at balancing our blood sugars with fiber. And we like to call fiber, I like to call fiber God's natural regulator for blood sugars. Okay. Fiber actually helps slow down our digestion, so that when sugar enters the bloodstream gradually instead of spikes, and it's not all at once. Okay. And so this helps your body use its insulin more effectively. So instead of actually reaching for like white breads and pastas and sugary drinks that send your blood sugars on like a roller coaster ride, try instead eating beans and lentils and leafy greens. So one of my mentors always says that when we think of diabetes, you want to think of your plate as beans and greens. So that's easy to remember. I love that, because it's like it's like a subconscious thought that you can be there, and you're like, again, before you know it, you'll look at your plate and there are beans and greens. Okay. Um, you can always add in some whole grains. You want to be careful with the grains for some people, because that definitely can cause some like ups and downs for them. But beans and greens, just remember that. And so remember, these foods will help you to sustain energy and help you to curb the appetite, and also help with supporting weight control naturally. Okay. So fiber slows digestion, helps regulate the blood sugars. So we want to look at that and get that steady fuel instead of quick flames and burning out fast. Okay. So diabetes, when we look at our plate, we want to see beans and greens. Next up, if we think about heart health, because I'm trying to do a quick overview of these different disease states that can be in our family. We want to look again at foods that stabilize the heart. So we want to look at reducing saturated fat. Okay, saturated fat. And saturated fat also for diabetes. So with high heart disease, so reducing saturated fat. So what is saturated fat? Where does it come from? Most likely from in America's diet, it's like cheese or full fat dairy, like with the cheese, red meat, so things like that. So instead, you want to look at ways to increase your like omega-3s or the plant-based fats, like with a little bit of avocado, nuts, and seeds, because this actually helps to feed your arteries life instead of blocking them. So we want to give your arteries life. We want to clean those up. And then also your plate should look like a rainbow. And I always laugh when I say that because you look at the rainbow, but then there's a candy company that likes to use the rainbow also. We don't want that type of rainbow on our plate. We don't want those little round candies. We want foods, God's natural foods. And if you look at the vegetables and the fruits that are in the world and how all the different colors that you can get, so the greens, the reds, the orange, the purples, the blues, and each of these represent, the color actually makes a difference. Like the color has a reason for it, and it has different phytonutrients in there that help protect your heart and actually reduce inflammation. So if you look at your plate and it's all one color, unless it's all greens, then usually I won't harp on that. But you really want to get like some full color in there. So when you're eating your leafy greens, you can add in some like red bell peppers. You can add in some orange peppers. You can add in some oranges, like some mandarin oranges. You can add in some blueberries. You can add in some like carrots, different colors of different vegetables that actually bring, color to the plate. And again, this is very protective for you. And when we have these protective factors, it helps decrease our cholesterol. It helps support our blood pressure and actually cleans out those arteries and opens that up and decreases inflammation. And it really fuels your body, gives you the energy, and actually helps you to function better. Okay. So I'm looking for comments. See if anyone has comments out there or any questions. So I'm going to keep going. Yes. So yes, you can actually eat these different greens and they're very good for your body. Okay. So heart health includes the blood pressure and it includes cholesterol. So these things that you can do that just for overall heart health is also good for your blood pressure and your cholesterol. Okay. So next, with cancer prevention. So we are in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and breast cancer is very prominent, especially in African American women. And usually for African American women, it's found later, like the stages are higher, more advanced. And sometimes that's because we're not actually getting our screening. So ladies out there, if you have not had your screening mammogram, please go and do so. I have had mine. And I can tell you, it's not the most comfortable, but I always tell people that it is a few minutes of uncomfortableness for to try to prevent a more robust or more painful type of treatment that could come on later down the road if you don't actually get it checked and trying to detect it early. Okay. But if we want to try to reduce our risk or try to prevent cancer, research actually has shown that a plant-predominant diet is powerful at reducing our cancer risk. And why is this? Because of antioxidants, fiber, and phytonutrients. Okay, so these things pack a punch. And when we look at the vegetables that we want to actually intake to actually help with all these three things, it's our carnivorous vegetables like our broccoli, our kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. These things actually help for your liver to break down harmful toxins that can lead to cancer. And that's just like your body making cells over and over again without the stop. So your body is very smart. So you actually, when you're like growing or replacing your skin, healing, that your body replicates its cells, and then it has a stopping point, and then your body would say stop, remaking these cells, and therefore would stop. But in cancer, that stop signal is malfunctioning, and it just keeps going and going and going and grows. So it actually, that antioxidant can really help with that. Okay, so we want to be very conscious of that. Other foods that actually help, and it actually helps fight the free radicals that just like causes our cells to go on, is like our berries and our citrus fruits. So that can help to stabilize those damaged cells, and then it actually helps to prevent aging. So we all, as we are having more and more birthdays, we don't necessarily want to look like we have more and more birthdays. So we want to really eat those berries and fruits. Okay. So remember, every bite of food is like sending your body a cleanup crew to sweep away inflammation and neutralize harmful compounds before they can cause damage. And it's a daily opportunity to partner with our loving Father God as we are caring for this temple of ours that He gave us. He entrusted us with this temple. So let's actually go out and protect it. Okay. So when you look at your plate, I want you to think about it in this way. Is this meal helping me to bring balance to my blood sugar? And this is whether or not you have diabetes, because still you don't want those spikes to occur when even when you don't have diabetes. And then also, is your plate, when you look at it, is it protecting my heart? And then also, is it fighting disease at the cellular level, where this can actually help to prevent and possibly reverse some types of cancers? Okay. So every small change, every swap, from processed to whole foods, from fried to fresh, from animal-based to plant-based, adds up to a healthier and more vibrant you. So remember, 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, it helps to remind us that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are not your own. You were bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your whole body. Okay. So let's just do that. One meal at a time, one choice at a time. Okay. So you don't have to worry about taking a complete overhaul of your diet all at once, because this is where people really, I see the downfall, because they're like, try to change everything at once and then they feel overwhelmed. But simply starting with adding in extra serving of vegetables, and I say at every single meal. People sometimes look at me like, vegetables for breakfast? Of course, vegetables all the time. So that can be adding in a salad. It can be adding in a kale or spinach to if you're eating omelet or something like that, you can add in there. Swap out those refined carbs for a whole grain. So instead of white rice, do a little bit of brown rice or quinoa. And for those that love their sugary drinks, which I was one of those people that love my soda, change it out for less sugary drink or unsweetened tea, or most importantly, water that we can do. All right. So just to be reminded that your family history is not your destiny. Okay. You can take control of your own health today. And if you're looking for actually a personalized plan to where you're like, I want to go deeper, Dr. Amanda, I hear what you're saying. I've been doing these few little things, but I need a little bit more help. Then please reach out to us at Adkins Enlightenment Lifestyle Medicine, and you can book your appointments at www.dramandamd.com. and we'll be more than happy to assist you there. Okay, so don't forget, your genes are not your destiny. Just because your family had these things does not mean it has to be your destiny. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Don't forget to write your questions in the chat, and I will come back and answer those. Or if there's questions that you want me to come on here and answer in a different live, then I'll be more than happy to do that also. All right, so blessing and health, y'all, and I look forward to seeing you next time.